All right, this is a video for a project we did for a distributor of Clayton Homes. They had a model that they called the Olympia, and they wanted a river rock column with a squared tapered column on top of it. And they wanted us to make an interlocking system that would go up real quick as opposed to the way they were making it. So in this video, I'm going to kind of detail that we started out by making the prototypes for this, and these are basically castings that you're seeing now on the shop floor. We made the river rock and the craftsman style column in two pieces that would easily seam together and make installation fast, as you'll see from the video. I mean, we installed 4 of these columns complete within a few hours, and if you went through conventional means to do so, you'd be there days. At any rate, I started out by creating a prototype that was made so that I could mold it, not so much that I could put it on the front of a house, but I needed to be able to make a mold of this prototype, and it had to interlock. So we made the prototype, tested it for its ability to interlock, and then proceeded to mold it. We did the same with the square tapered column. We made a prototype for that, left and right, and then molded those, and we then had 2 molds of each, and we could create 1 casting per day initially, and then I ramped that up to where we had 3 or 4 of them, but we would cast those every day for orders that they were making. So this video kind of detailed the installation from here on out. Okay, what I'm doing today as a project is basically taking this prototype. It's a 2-piece prototype that fits together. It's an interlocking river rock column. And this was, built as a prototype so that I'd have the 2 pieces that would interlock. This is a hollow rock technology that basically has the flanges already on it to where they interlock and you can screw them together. I basically made the river rock columns with a cementatious process, where this is just made out of wood. This is a craftsman style column that fits on top and interlocks onto this. Again, a 2-piece system. This particular one, I've got the rubber already done. Next, I'm going to be making a hard mold over it. This DVD is to show you how to install our interlocking river rock and squared tapered columns. This particular home has 4 posts that we're going to be covering, and it's also got a deck as opposed to a concrete slab. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It just changes your installation procedure a little bit. We have 4 columns on the trailer right now. They're all braced for the transport, and the guys are going to undo them real quick here, and then we'll start installing them. They come from the factory, the river rock ones anyway, come from the factory stained. These tapered columns, square tapered columns, are going to be painted to match the home, so they need to be, they're just regular gray cementatious colored at this point. They need to be primered and then painted to the house. The guys are unpackaging these at the moment and just setting them on a piece of cardboard so not to scuff up the deck. The river rock ones didn't have any packaging other than a shrink wrap. The base of the square tapered columns do come with a foam wrapped around them to protect them as they sit next to one another. These are factory installed to where there's a big gap, about 3/4 of an inch. This, you want to unscrew the 3 screws on each side, and then when the unit goes back together, it's tight, and that gives you an ability to drill a new pilot hole, so you're not going through this hole that we've used for shipping purposes. But anyway, disregard these screws. These are not but brass screws. They're not designed for the exterior use. We've just used them for shipping purposes. Measure the opening that you have. Obviously, I would deduct about 1/4 inch
from the measurement. This particular location, they didn't have the trim board on underneath the beam, so we left a 3/4 inch. But a 1/4 inch should be left so as you can get the square tapered column slided over the river rock column and then caulk the difference. They're taking the measurement on each side, on each corner of each side, so you're going to have 8 marks, 2 on each face, and that, in this particular case, our column is 9 foot when installed, but this particular porch was installed at an 8-foot opening, so we're just cutting it. Now, this is the neat thing about the river rock. It's your adjustment. In any case that you ever are going to find an installation, you're rarely going to find each post being perfectly the same measurement. Well, you can cut these river rock columns. They're using a laser at this point to go between the 2 marks on each side, and the laser goes between them and gives you a straight line. It's physically impossible to get a good line, straight line, with a chalk box. You're not going to get the line into the rock, and the rock can make the line, when it's snapped, go to the left or the right. The laser gets in all that undulation and makes for a perfect line every time. Take a Sharpie pen and mark it, and you're ready to cut. Now they're going to take the half column and put it on 2 2x4s, as you can see on the sawhorses. We'll cut this right there in place. Now notice that blade is a regular carbide blade. It's a wood cutting blade. This is a cement product that you're cutting, but it is not going to dull your wood type of blades or tools. It is a composite material. Now, the worm drive saw, to me, is my favorite way. My 2 sons that were with me in the installation prefer the use of the grinder, which is a masonry blade, as you'll see here. But it doesn't have the depth penetration. In fact, after Skylar cuts this first across and down the sides, you're going to see him then follow up with the skill saw to penetrate the depth. Another way of doing it, if you don't have a worm drive saw, is to take and turn the unit over and cut it from the other side. You'll obviously get the valley once it's turned over. But cutting a straight line is kind of a nice thing, so that the river rock column will sit nicely onto the deck itself, whether it be concrete, brick, or a wood deck like we're doing in this installation. All right, so they've cut the first, or he's cutting the first column. So obviously the first step is to measure, cut all your columns to where they're going to be the same height. Now they're taking a toe strap or a tie down strap and just cinching together the actual 2 halves to get them to be in a position where you can screw them. Now, I wouldn't snug them up tight. You want about a good 1/8 to a 3/16 of a gap, so that you could either get your caulking, or if they're going to be a permanent installation, you can grout them with our texture mix. This particular location is a model home center. It is inevitable that this model home will be either sold or changed out for another one, so this needs to be removable for future and reinstalled at another location. So in this particular application, we're using a caulking to mend the seam area, as opposed to a texture mix, which would still, either case, your structure is being held together by these screws. As you can see, they've pre-drilled a pilot hole through the countersink hole that's factory made in the mold. You can see that hole now, and now he's screwing into that. Now that's obviously been pre-drilled, because behind that is a flange that's made out of the same material, and it allows you to cinch the 2 pieces together. That's really what's holding this together. The cosmetic effect of the caulking, or if you choose permanent, a grout, is not so much what's holding it together. It's just a cosmetic seaming, if you will. Notice he's pre-drilling the pilot hole so that the screw can go through easier. But notice on this bottom shot here, you'll see the panel on the right suck up out towards the left, or vice versa, the left one's going in. But you're drawing them just perfectly together. Notice the crack there that's between there, the joint. It's about 3/16 of an inch. This leaves you ability to get caulking or grout into the in between the 2 units. Now that one's done. It is not centered yet. They're just screwing the 4 columns together to begin with. After they're done screwing the 2 halves together on all 4 units, then they will go to the 2 outside columns, and they will center them. And perfectly on that post. From there, they'll take a line, and then the other two in the center will be then lined to match the parallel there. Again, all the holes that you need are countersunk, with the exception of the two screws at the bottom that you're going to see them do once we start to lock these down to the deck. We are choosing to use a plastic lumber, if you will. It's like a deck product. It's a 2x2, and what we'll do is we'll put two of them on the inside, and we'll countersink from the outside and screw into those two, and you'll see that here shortly. But again, all right, now we're installing the two 2x2s on the inside of the seam. As you can see, that screw on the bottom of your screen in the middle, that's the flange side, so we want to be on the opposite sides. These are the non-flange sides that we're screwing these 2x2s down with. Then we'll come from the outside and screw the river rock panel into those 2x2s, thus holding it down to the deck. Another means of securing this, if you will, is the caulking that will go on the bottom to dress the edge there. This is a countersink bit. These are the only countersink holes that you're going to need to make, and that's on two screw holes on each side to lock the river rock panel, or to secure the river rock panel into the 2x2, giving you a bottom support, if you will, or locking you to the deck. Again, the caulking would also, that big of a footprint is got to be almost 9 foot around that column, so the caulking will also be a measure of bond, if you will, that's temporal, that you could remove if you should be so inclined. If you're on a concrete surface, obviously you could grout that, and that would give you a bond, so to speak. Countersinking the holes, then he's going to pilot drill the hole just through the panel, not into the wood, just enough to get through that column. And then he'll take a 3-inch, or I'm sorry, an 1 5/8 screw. This one might be a 3-inch. I'm not sure. We use 3-inch screws. This is a 3-inch screw he's got there. And to secure the two halves together, we used a 3-inch screw. Now these are deck screws that are treated for exterior use. Again, 2 on each half will secure this down to the bottom. That's the first in. And again, he's dealing with the 2 outside columns at this point. This is the far right one, and then we'll have the far left one be next. Now Skylar is taking and screwing on an angle just a little bit these screws to allow for you to reach over and drop the 2x2 down into the floor there, and then reach down in through the top and screw those into place. You should be able to reach in on a 4-foot reach, though, once you have your screws, and that's what he's doing here. The screws are already in. Now he's locking it down to the deck. If you were in a masonry situation, concrete or brick, block, whatever, you would be able to use a concrete anchor as opposed to a wood screw, obviously. You're still going to utilize that 2x2, and we chose this 2x2 material because, again, it is plastic lumber. It's not going to rot. Now, mind you, this deck does have a porch over it, so it's not like it's going to get rained, but if you were in a wet situation of any kind, I think the plastic lumber is going to outlive any kind of a wood product that you could find. Again, securing these down into place and then countersinking. You're countersinking into the grout area, if you'll notice. There's 2 areas, or maybe 3, depending on the stone, that you have an opportunity to drill through. You wouldn't do this through the rock. You're going to go into a grout joint. Now, again, all 4 columns are set, and the 2 outside are centered. Now we're using a string line, and we're gauging it with a 1/2-inch piece of ply.